Hi guys, Jordan, I thought that this was a very good question for you to ask, and I think for us as future teachers, it's something we need to think about because we are going to have to use integration a lot, so we want to make sure that when we are integrating things, we're doing it in a meaningful way. And Madison, I thought that you brought up a lot of good points, and I agreed with a lot of the things that you said. In the beginning of the video, you kind of talked about how in a perfect world we would be able to use all of these styles of integration, but kind of like you said, with all of the emphasis on testing and meeting certain standards, there's just not time for all of that, unfortunately. Um, so for me, it kind of came down to weighing out the pros and cons of each style of integration and deciding what would be most meaningful for students. And for me, I think that I would use a combination of the subservient and the effective style of integration most often in my classroom. Starting with subservient, I think that this is the most widely seen style of integration, so for me, it just might seem more comfortable. So an example of this would be, like the article said, singing the 50 Nifty States song, or singing a song that helps students, remember how to do long division. So I think that with this, it really helps integrate the musical or arts styles into the core subjects without losing focus on either one. Uh, I think that one thing that you do really have to be careful about with this style of integration is that you are using meaningful activities. I know in our art class we talked about how having students color a picture of a turkey would not be a good way to integrate the arts into, for example, a Thanksgiving lesson, so like a social studies lesson. So it just wouldn't be meaningful having students color a picture because they're not learning anything about the arts. So it would essentially just be a waste of time or busy work. So when teachers are planning to use this style of integration, you really just have to be careful about using like fluff activities. You want to avoid those. You only want to use things that are teaching students things about the arts and also still delivering the same amount of content of the core subject as you would have without integrating the arts. I also really liked this style of integration because I think that it helps reach those learners who aren't your typical visual, kinesthetic, or auditory learners. It helps reach those students who are more musically inclined or more artistically inclined. And I think that this can help build their confidence in themselves if they are able to better understand things, putting a song to it. They may feel more confident in their abilities when their preferred style of learning is integrated into the classroom regularly. So I think that this helps students feel more confident in themselves, and overall that's really what we want, is for students to feel comfortable and confident in their abilities, because I think that this will help them be overall better students. And as for the effective style of integration, I like this because I think that it helps expose students to a wide variety of types of music or different kinds of arts. I know in our art class we do listen to music while we're working, and I like this because it helps me focus in, which is an added bonus of it, but it also exposes me to songs that I haven't heard of before. So I think that using this with students would help them hear different genres of music because they may only listen to one type of music at home. So I think that, again, the exposure to the arts can help students see if this is something they're interested in and see if this is something they want to pursue like as they grow older. So yeah, for me, I think that those two styles of integration would be the most used in my classroom personally. The other two styles of integration are very important and would work really well, but for me, co-equal, I just don't think I would feel comfortable using that one just because I don't have a very musical or artistic background. So I don't think that I would feel comfortable having it be equal parts music and equal parts content when I just don't have that musical knowledge per se. And the social integration style, also a really great style, but for me, I just don't know if it would be feasible to have everyone on board with that in your school, especially if you teach in a larger school. So it might be hard to get everyone, willing to work with that one. So yeah, for me, I think I would use most the subservient and the effective styles of integration.